The 10 best and the 10 worst cities for cyclists and pedestrians in 2025. Let's get into it. G'day. As a road cyclist, I'm sure you're aware of the dangers that you incur when you go out riding. The US government defines cyclists, pedestrians, and wheelchair users as vulnerable road users. Now, we're all aware of how dangerous it is to be riding a bicycle with multi-ton metal containers going past us at high speed and only inches away. So what are cities and governments actually doing to help make it safer for us? Well, we're going to have a look at the top 10 cities and the 10 worst cities and what they're doing in terms of technology and infrastructure to help. Let's get into it. Well, the research was done by law firm Wagner Rees, and in broad terms, they ranked the top 10 best and the bottom 10 worst cities based on the number of fatalities per 100,000 residents. Now, what they found is that cities in the south and the southwest appear to be the most dangerous. Now, according to this research, recent Google searches have actually increased over 130% for searches around bike lane rules and over 70% increase for right-of-way. So this is indicating an interest in cycling safety. Now, other interesting facts are that in the first half of 2024, 3,304 pedestrians were killed across the US, and this is up 48% from 10 years ago. And every year, 1,000 bicyclists die across the country. Now, this was based on research from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Fatality Analysis Reporting System, and that quotes 300 cities across the US to which we can determine the 10 best and the 10 worst. So what were the 10 worst cities in the United States according to this research? Well, number one was Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now, interestingly, we did a video about an accident in Baton Rouge this year, and if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. Tucson, Arizona, Jacksonville, Florida, San Bernardino, California, Las Vegas, Nevada, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Detroit, Michigan, Tampa, Florida, Glendale, Arizona, and Phoenix, Arizona. Now, according to the analysis, a lot of the factors to blame for this high number of casualties in the US are high-speed roads located near residential areas, high-speed roads located near commercial areas, dangerous roads and poor visibility at intersections, a lack of lighting, lack of crosswalks, lack of bicycle lanes, and limited traffic enforcement in high-risk zones. These are just some of the points highlighted. Another clear indicator of a rising trend is the number of distracted drivers and aggressive drivers. Now, distracted to me means using phones or other electronic equipment whilst driving, and aggressive driving, and we've all witnessed and seen that, and that can make people react emotionally rather than logically. And it all underpins the need for increased public awareness to the dangers that exist to vulnerable road users, cyclists, pedestrians, and wheelchair users. So what about the 10 best cities? Well, number one was New York City, New York. Now, this was a surprise to me, just up the road. I've certainly ridden bikes in New York City, and I wondered why New York City would be considered one of the best. Well, I think there's a few factors. Number one is it's a very highly densely populated area. So the data is based on not the number of users, but rather the number of residents. So that might skew the results slightly. The second thing is that New York City has been very proactive in putting bike lanes in and doing things for bike and pedestrian safety. The third factor is perhaps a non-obvious one, is that driving in New York City is very demanding and it requires a lot of attention, and therefore distracted driving is less likely to be a cause because of the need for drivers to be fully attentive. And I think the fourth and final one is that speeds of vehicles in New York City is significantly lower as the traffic is so high and cars are just creeping along. So New York City, interestingly, number one. What about number two? Irvine, California. Number three, Frisco, Texas. Then Boston, Massachusetts. Lincoln, Nebraska. And Minneapolis, Minnesota. Plano, Texas, Madison, Wisconsin, Santa Clarita, California, and Omaha, Nebraska. Now, interestingly, what's not on there is Boulder, Colorado. Now, Boulder is a very, very bike-friendly city with a very, very high proportion of people riding bikes regularly, but it didn't rank up in the top 10 when it comes to safety. So what are cities doing specifically to improve the safety of vulnerable road users? Well, as we mentioned earlier, New York City is doing a lot, and specifically they have a program called the New York City Vision Zero program. There are 600 or more miles of protected bike lanes, which is having real results, a 45% drop in accidents and a 200% rise in cycling ridership. I'll leave a link to the description about that. Now, another technology initiative that's being rolled out in San Francisco and New York City is putting sensors directly into the pavement, into the road itself. So embedded within the system are sensors that pick up vehicles, their weight, their speed, whether there is ice on the road, temperature, and a whole bunch of other statistics from thousands and thousands of sensors. And that's sent through to analysis, and that data can be sent back out to drivers so that they can be aware of things like traffic coming up, slippery road conditions, wet road conditions, and they can adjust their riding style accordingly. Of course, some challenges are, of course, the cost of this, the durability of this, the standardization of this, but I believe this is going to be part of the future of road technology. Another new initiative being trialed in Boston and Seattle is community-powered mapping. So this is where residents have an app and they can report traffic incidents and issues and hazards, and that gets aggregated with the sensor data and pushed back out to road users to help keep drivers aware of the situation, and that includes cyclists, and even pedestrians can use this technology. Another piece of technology, AI-based lane monitoring and adjustment. So being trialed in Chicago and Los Angeles is AI dynamically controls the lanes and the flow, opening and closing lanes in response to traffic patterns to optimize the throughput of traffic and reduce congestion and ultimately improve safety. So technology is coming and infrastructure is improving, but safety isn't really seeing the benefits of that across the board. Certainly there are pockets and areas where there are improvement, but not generally. So what can cyclists do to improve safety? Well, what I do is I avoid traffic areas and I ride off-road as much as possible. I use bike lanes and trailways. I drive to locations and I ride off-road as much as possible. Where that's not possible, I use back roads. Sometimes I ride further just to avoid high traffic roads, and I stay off main roads and where there's high speed traffic. There's also some cool technology, Hawkeye, which you can purchase directly from the Hawkeye website, and that's AI-powered cameras which look out for traffic behind you. Very powerful tool for improving your situational awareness. Often we don't look at our mirrors very often, and Hawkeye can alert you to exactly what's happening behind you and keep you safe. So if you want to get involved and check out that product, follow the links in the description. There's more you can do if you're interested in safety of pedestrians and cyclists. Is you can lobby your local politicians for improving infrastructure, increasing lanes, rolling out technology, as well as investing in those apps and other tools and contributing to those certainly raises awareness. And as a driver, you can be also involved in helping cycling safety by being a good driver. Now, I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.